Right, okay. I lived in the Cross in 1958-59, and one of the great places I lived in was a whorehouse, which was opposite the fire station. There's now, I think, a restaurant there, and I was 1920, and these women all were like me mums, or certainly...
was it Victoria Street or Darlinghurst Road?
Opposite the fire station.
Yeah, but which one?
Oh,
probably Darlinghurst Road.
Yeah, Darlinghurst Road. Yeah. I mean, they were all middle-aged women. They were all Catholic. They were all Irish Australian. Noreen, Doreen, Maureen, and they all had daughters boarding in convent schools. It was the most bizarre environment, and they were just there looking after me. It was a fantastic thing to be able to come home to these women. They weren't girls, they were women. And there was a coffee shop in Darlinghurst Road called the Chat Noir, which they always used to sit in, which was very sort of Art Deco-ish, and they used to sit in the window. It was a really interesting time to be there. And of course, there was also all these guys, from the Second World War, because it's 1958, 59. So there's still these youngish men who'd been in the war, painters and mad fucking people. I mean, it was full of maddies, but it was really raffish and friendly. It wasn't kind of depressed or really horrible. I mean, I loved it. It had a really great sense of community, apart from anything else. It was a village. That's how I felt about it. It was this great village of eccentrics and damaged World War II veterans and Irish Catholic prostitutes. And holy fuck! Oh, and down the hill too. That was great. In the Loo and East Sydney, down Liverpool Street, Tradesmen's Arms. I mean, that was really that was rough too. And of course, all the whorehouses through back at Palmer Street and Chapman, the lanes and what have you. Yeah, no, it was a great time. El Rocco.
The jazz club.
The jazz club. Fuck.
Did you go there?
All the time. Freddie Logan, great, sensational jazz. I mean, really good. Coming out of out of bop with Miles Davis and Coltrane in style, but really having a definitive Australianness about it. It's really great. The El Rocco and Freddie Logan.
So what sort of audience would the El Rocco have had on a Saturday night in like 1965?
Well, I wasn't there in 65.
Oh, well, whenever you were there.
I was there in the late 50s.
Okay, well,
and if we were anything culturally, we were beatniks.
Okay, well, tell me, what sort of an audience? An audience full of beatniks?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that would have been, but we had rocker life as well, of course, because that was the beginning of rock and roll. I mean, the Jacobson brothers, who I've known ever since, and as in Cold Joy and the Joy Boys, and of course Johnny O'Keefe. Fuck. I mean, so there was a rock thing, but we were still a hangover from that jazz scene and part of the jazz scene. And the Piccolo down Roslyn Street, I used to hang there, and that was absolutely the beat joint. And it was run in those days by a guy called Ozzy, and he used to feed me. I'd be in there like when he closed down at 2 o'clock in the morning. Tiny place, but you get great pasta. So I'd help him clean up every night, every morning, 3 or 4 o'clock, whatever, and I'd get fed. He used to feed me. Yeah, in the Piccolo. That's where I got my food.